एवरीवन, वेलकम टू इंस्पायरिंग इंडियन पॉडशो। आज के हमारे पहले एपिसोड में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। आज की हमारी गेस्ट है फाल्गुनी जैन, जो कि एक बुक एडिटर है, जिन्होंने 90 प्लस बुक्स एडिट की है और साथ में एडिटिंग के ऊपर एक बुक भी लिखी है। वो बुक उन्होंने ट्विंकल खन्ना और टिस्का चोपड़ा को प्रेजेंट। इसके अलावा उन्होंने बुक इंडस्ट्री में काफी कुछ एक्सप्लोर किया है। अपनी वेल पेड जॉब को छोड़ के उन्होंने एडिटिंग को परस्यू किया है। वो फ्रीलांसिंग भी करती है और बहुत कुछ इंसाइट्स उनसे जानने को मिलेंगे बुक इंडस्ट्री के बारे में। तो आइए उनसे मिलके बातें करते हैं और समझते हैं बुक एडिटिंग इंडस्ट्री। सो हाय फाल्गुनी, वेलकम टू द शो।
Hi Neha, how are you?
आई एम डूइंग गुड, थैंक यू। हाउ आर यू?
I am great and I'm very excited to be a part of this podcast.
I'm also very excited, and I have a very long list ready for you. Uh, but before we jump on to that list, I think I want to say for once and all, कि editing is not just about correcting the grammars, not just about like colon, semicolon, apostrophe, dash, am dash. It's much, much beyond that. एंड आई फील कि जो बुक पब्लिशिंग इंडस्ट्री में जो एडिटर का कंट्रीब्यूशन है दैट इज फिनोमिनल, बिकॉज राइटर्स गेट अप्रिशिएटेड अ लॉट, but when it comes to editors, I think we just miss out, but then their contribution is very very important. And जो book हम लोग, I think when it comes to readers hand, so they don't even realize ki how smoothly the content is flowing. But those minor things, I think you guys take care very well, and you're a very important part of any book. So,
Uh, yeah, my professor once said कि एक good editor का काम ये नहीं होता कि वो notice हो, because अगर उसकी writing notice हो रही है, that means it's a badly edited work. कि लोगों को editor की एक कमी महसूस हो रही है, वो नहीं महसूस हो, that means you are a good editor.
right. And I think you have edited 90 plus books.
That's correct.
So that is something, a big achievement. And I wish that you reach early to the 100 milestone as well. And you're
I'm so
writing
excited.
also.
Yes, I am writing. I have published two short stories and a writing guide. और अभी भी मैं एक शॉर्ट स्टोरी कलेक्शन पे वर्क कर रही हूँ और एक नॉन फिक्शन बुक पे भी वर्क कर रही हूँ. सो लेट्स सी हाउ दैट गोस.
All the very best. I think that will just be wonderful.
थैंक यू.
But Falguni, I want to know ki when this editing journey of yours started. Like कब आपने सोचा कि मुझे editor बनना है?
सो बहुत ही लाइक व्हाट यू कॉल इट एपिफनी काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन थी. बिकॉज मैंने बीकॉम ऑनर्स किया है एंड बीकॉम ऑनर्स के बाद आई गॉट प्लेस्ड एट एन ऑडिटिंग कंपनी. सो अच्छा खासा मैंने कुछ महीने उनके साथ काम करा, बट देन काम करते करते आई रियलाइज यार समथिंग इज मिसिंग. मतलब इतना बोरिंग हो रहा है, बुक्स पढ़ने का भी टाइम नहीं मिल रहा. लाइक दिस इज नॉट अ काइंड ऑफ लाइफ आई वॉन्ट. बट देन अगेन आई डेंट थिंक टू मच अबाउट इट. उस टाइम पे मेरे एक फ्रेंड ने, आई ऑलरेडी हैड माई इंस्टाग्राम अकाउंट एंड मैं उस पर कोट्स वगैरह शेयर करती थी, रिव्यूज शेयर करती थी. सो उस टाइम पे मेरे एक फ्रेंड ने मुझे एक अपना राइटिंग पीस दिया कि आप प्लीज़ इसको एडिट कर दो. आई वॉन्ट टू सेंड इट फॉर सम कॉन्टेस्ट, तो प्लीज़ एडिट इट. एंड आई एम लाइक मेरे को बिल्कुल टाइम नहीं है, आई एम सुपर बिजी. Almost 12 to 13 hours I was working, because working plus 2 hours of travel, बहुत लंबा टाइम जा रहा था. So he said, yeah, please do it, please do it. So I did it, and that was the one time I felt really good being on my laptop. Otherwise I was काम कर रही थी. There was no interest in that. But उस दिन मुझे काफ़ी इंटरेस्ट आया वो एडिट करते हुए. It was not a well edited piece, but I really enjoyed it nonetheless. तो मैंने कहा यार ये तो सही है, ऐसा ही कुछ करना है अब आगे. सो राइट अराउंड द टाइम कोविड स्टार्टेड, मैंने उसी टाइम अपनी जॉब से रिज़ाइन दिया था. एंड उसी टाइम पे मैं पब्लिशिंग इंडस्ट्री में एंटर करने का सोच रही थी. बट अगेन कोविड का टाइम था, लॉकडाउन था, डिडंट गेट एनी जॉब, डिडंट गेट एनी इंटर्नशिप. दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड फ्रीलांसिंग.
ओके, सो एक्चुअली कॉलेज में आके लगा कि अभी एडिटिंग करना है, एंड विदाउट जॉब यू रिजाइन फ्रॉम योर प्रीवियस
Yes,
कंपनी.
yes, I did. There were two reasons for resigning. पहला तो कि family shift हो रही थी from Delhi to Mumbai. तो I wanted to shift too and I wanted to do something else. And publishing industry में interest था तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, good opportunity, I'll also move. But I also knew कि हाँ दिल्ली में ज़्यादा opportunities है. But I thought okay एक बार shift हो जाते then I'll come back to Delhi to take up a job or something. तो यही प्लान था बट एज इट हैपेंड लॉकडाउन हुआ. कोई बैकअप सोर्स नहीं था एंड देन आई जस्ट स्टार्टेड कोल्ड ईमेलिंग एंड कोल्ड मैसेजिंग पीपल कि राइटर्स वगैरह को कि इफ़ यू हैव एनीथिंग इफ आई कैन एडिट फॉर यू. तो दैट्स हाउ इट स्टार्टेड.
ओके, बट जैसे ट्रेडिशनल फैमिलीज में बोलते हैं ना कि डॉक्टर बन जाओ, इंजीनियर बन जाओ, इवन राइटर बन जाओ, बट आई थिंक कोई ये नहीं बोलता है कि एडिटर बन जाओ, क्योंकि ये इतना ऑफ बीट और इतना अनकन्वेंशनल प्रोफेशन है. तो लाइक डिड यू हैव एनी सच थिंग कि आपको घर पे कन्विंस करना पड़ा या समझाना पड़ा कि व्हाट एडिटिंग इज?
बहुत ज़्यादा. सो लकीली माय दादाजी, माय लेट ग्रैंडफादर यूज्ड टू राइट. उन्होंने काफ़ी अपने राइटअप्स न्यूज़पेपर्स एंड मैगजीन्स में पब्लिश करे हैं. उन्होंने अपनी एक नॉवल भी पब्लिश करी थी इन हिंदी लैंग्वेज और बहुत पोएट्रीज वगैरह लिखते थे. एंड सेम मेरे फादर भी बहुत पोएट्रीज लिखते हैं बट वो कोई पब्लिश नहीं करा है जो कि मैं कह रही हूँ उनको कि प्लीज़ कर लो. बट ही कीप्स पोस्टिंग इट ऑन फेसबुक एंड इंस्टाग्राम ग्रुप्स. तो मतलब वो राइटिंग का जीन तो आया ही है दैट साइड ऑफ द फैमिली से. बट उसके बाद भी घर पे बताना, कन्विंस करना कि दिस इज़ एन इंडस्ट्री और इसमें काम होता है. बट कन्विंस करना वाज हार्ड बिकॉज़ मुझे भी नहीं पता था कि क्या होगा. मुझे पब्लिशिंग इंडस्ट्री का कोई आइडिया नहीं है, कभी किसी के साथ ऐसे काम नहीं करा था. तो वो चीज़ कन्विंस करना कि दिस इज समथिंग आई वांट टू गो अहेड एंड डू, और उसके लिए मैंने अपनी एक वेल पेड जॉब रिजाइन करी. इट वाज
राइट.
वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कन्विंस बट यस माय सिस्टर एग्रीड, माय ब्रदर इन लॉ वाज लाइक ओके वी विल सपोर्ट यू. एंड देन मम्मी पापा को भी थोड़ा कन्विंस करा. दे टुक टाइम बट नाउ दे फाइनली अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट द वर्क इज अबाउट.
हम्म. एंड सिंस यू सेड दैट कि आपने वेल पेड जॉब को छोड़ा, राइट? तो इस इंडस्ट्री में क्या सीन था? लाइक फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी थी इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ योर करियर? लाइक स्टेबिलिटी तो हम नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते, बट वाज इट पेइंग वेल इनफ टू काइंड ऑफ अर्न योर ब्रेड एंड बटर?
जब स्टार्ट करा ऑब्वियसली नहीं. एक तो फ्रीलांसिंग है तो वैसे ही डिफिकल्ट है क्लाइंट्स आना. देन यू डोंट इवन नो व्हाट रेट्स टू चार्ज. तो उस टाइम पे यू आर कंफ्यूज. आप कम पे वाले जॉब्स लेते हो, ऑफ कोर्स आपका पोर्टफोलियो नहीं है तो आप पोर्टफोलियो बिल्ड करने के लिए फ्री में भी काम करते हो. तो
हम्म.
यू डू ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ थिंग जस्ट टू सेट योर फुट इन द इंडस्ट्री.
हम्म.
बट आई थॉट कि अगर इंटर्नशिप मिल जाएगी मुझे एक्सपोजर मिल जाएगा. बट फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर लाइक आई लेफ्ट माई जॉब इन 2019, 2020 when the COVID started, April 2020. तो पहले कुछ महीने नहीं मिला. इन दिसंबर आई गॉट माई इंटर्नशिप एट हार्पर कॉलिन्स एंड थोड़े टाइम बाद पायरेट्स पब्लिशिंग. उन दो में इंटर्नशिप करी एंड वहाँ से थोड़ा और एक्सपीरियंस मिला बट अगेन वो मेरे फील्ड में नहीं था. दैट वाज मोर ऑफ मार्केटिंग एंड
हम्म.
यू नो hosting meetups and all of that. So it was something completely different. तो उस टाइम पे थोड़ा लगा कि दिस इज नॉट समथिंग आई वांट टू डू इवन इफ इट्स अ गुड कंपनी. दे बोथ वर रियली ग्रेट कंपनीज बट नॉट एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई वाज ट्राइंग टू डू. सो आई लेफ्ट दोज इंटर्नशिप्स एज वेल और मैं फ्रीलांसिंग में ही लगी रही. पे का तो मैं नहीं कहूँगी कि इट इज़ ग्रेट बिकॉज you generally charge on per word basis, especially initially. बहुत difficult होता है to get the trust of your client कि you would give a good quality work. And then because writers भी इतना नहीं कर रहे हैं तो
राइट.
getting that to an editor वो और भी मुश्किल हो जाता है. But gradually you get better clients. You get you know they are more serious about their work. So इनिशियली वैसे वर्क आ रहे थे जो कि दे वर लाइक वी डोंट वांट टू इन्वेस्ट एनीथिंग, हमें बस बुक लिखनी है एंड पब्लिश करनी है. देन
हम्म.
ग्रेजुअली यू गेट टू क्लाइंट्स जो कि अच्छे से इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं, जो कि
Hmm.
चाहते हैं कि उनकी बुक बेस्ट सेलर बने, देन दे डोंट वरी अबाउट द प्राइजेस एज मच. So
Hmm.
that is how you step up and build your portfolio and get your earning where you can earn a living.
Right. But like you said कि writers भी उतना earn नहीं कर रहे, right? So then it gets difficult. Like those who are working somewhere and their part-time thing is writing, they can still
Right.
pay. But those who rely on their writing as their earning, तो
It's
उनके लिए एडिटर को पे करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है.
That's
But
correct.
then, yeah,
So
please go ahead.
हाँ, सो उस केस में ऐसा रहता है कि वी जनरली सी कि मतलब किस टाइप की एडिटिंग रिक्वायर्ड है. एक वन सॉल्यूशन फॉर ऑल नहीं होता एडिटिंग में. हर बुक,
Hmm.
हर राइटर के लिए एक अलग रिक्वायरमेंट होती है और उनकी वो रिक्वायरमेंट फुलफिल करना रहता है. सो
Hmm.
अगर किसी को चाहिए कि नहीं, वी डोंट वांट टू मच इन्वॉल्वमेंट, हमको बस बेसिक ग्रामर चेक और बेसिक एडिटिंग चाहिए जिससे हमारा राइटिंग का पीस इम्प्रूव हो जाए, तो दैट
Hmm.
कैन ऑल्सो बी डन. एंड समान लाइक कि हमको पूरा इन्वॉल्वमेंट चाहिए, हमें स्टोरी एकदम बेस्ट चाहिए जो सीधा बेस्ट सेलर बुक बन सके, तो
Hmm.
दैट इज कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट. तो वो रिक्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग ही वी एडजस्ट द प्राइसेस एंड दैट्स हाउ इट्स वर्क.
सो आपको बुक एडिटिंग करते पता लगता है कि ये काइंड ऑफ एक बेस्ट सेलर बुक है, मतलब लीव मार्केटिंग एंड द स्टफ, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू द कंटेंट एंड द क्वालिटी ऑफ द बुक.
Of course, matlab, there are all kinds of books in the market already, and some are so overhyped and some are so underhyped that you feel sad कि यार इनको क्यों नहीं मिल रहा वो promotion, इनको क्यों नहीं वो
Hmm.
hype मिल रहा, वो recognition मिल रहा. But it happens, it is ultimately a marketing game. तो
Hmm.
जब राइटर अपने कंटेंट को प्रॉपरली मार्केट कर पाएगा, अपने आप को एस्टैब्लिश कर पाएगा, तभी वो बुक बेस्ट सेलर बन पाती है. सैड बट दैट इज द रियलिटी. अगर आप
Hmm.
एक बुक लिखो एंड नो डाउट इट इज लाइक अ बुक प्राइज विनर टाइप कंटेंट, बट इफ यू डोंट मार्केट इट, अगर रीडर्स को आपके बारे में ही नहीं पता चल रहा, उस बुक के बारे में नहीं पता चल रहा, तो हाउ विल दे बाय इट?
Hmm.
So that becomes a very prominent thing while when you are writing a book.
Hmm. I think that is kind of added another upskilling कि मार्केटिंग भी पैरेलली सीख लो, राइटिंग तो आप इम्प्रूव करते ही जाओ.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
a lot of people hire marketing agencies and all, but उन सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है आप खुद को present कर पाओ. मतलब marketing agency can just do as much. They can probably schedule an event for you. They can do an interview for you in magazines. But ultimately,
Hmm.
you have to come up and speak for yourself. You have to promote your own book. तो
Hmm.
वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है अपने आप को वहाँ प्रमोट करना, अपनी बुक को प्रमोट करना.
राइट. एंड लाइक यू सेड कि आपने बिगिनिंग ऑफ योर करियर में काफ़ी फ्री में भी किया, एंड इवन नाउ आई सी कि जो बहुत एक्सपीरियंस्ड एडिटर्स हैं, दे डू सैम्पल एडिटिंग फॉर फ्री. तो
Yes,
एक इसका एंगल ये है कि राइटर को चाहिए कि वो एक बेस्ट एडिटर ढूंढे, एंड दिस इज द वन वे टू गेट टू नो देयर वर्क.
correct.
But at the same time, it is very painful, right? Like 100 people coming to you and asking to do a free sample edit, which will cost at least 1 hour of yours.
Exactly.
है ना? और फिर उसका कन्वर्जन रेट क्या होता है? लाइक हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम एक्चुअली टर्न आउट टू बी योर कस्टमर?
um, मेरा एक्सपीरियंस ऐसा रहा है कि मैंने जितनों के लिए भी एडिट करा है, आई वुड से पॉजिटिवली से कि 80 to 90% कन्वर्जन तो रहा है आफ्टर गिविंग देम द सैम्पल एडिट, आफ्टर हैविंग अ डिस्कशन विद देम. um, तो आई थिंक फॉर मी पर्सनली, आई थिंक वो 1000 2000 वर्ड्स का सैम्पल एडिट, दे डिजर्व टू गेट इट. द राइटर्स डिजर्व इट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ठीक है आप कैसे काम करोगे, आप कैसे उनके वॉइस के साथ कनेक्ट हो पाओगे, उनकी स्टोरी के साथ कनेक्ट हो पाओगे. तो आई जेन्युइनली बिलीव कि वो इट्स अ गुड थिंग टू डू. बहुत ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती, 1000 वर्ड्स आर सफिशिएंट, बट इफ इट्स अ लॉन्ग कंटेंट तो आप 1500 2000 वर्ड्स तक भी जा सकते हो. But when it comes to collaborating with other companies, जो कि आपसे लंबे लंबे टेस्ट करवाते हैं, 3 3 4 4 हजार वर्ड्स के, और एक टेस्ट नहीं होता, 2 3 अलग टेस्ट होते हैं, देन देर आर मल्टीपल राउंड्स ऑफ इंटरव्यूज, एंड देन दे डोंट इवन हैव द कर्टेसी टू रिप्लाई कि आप सिलेक्ट हुए हो या नहीं हुए हो. दैट इज वेरी हर्टफुल. उस टाइम पे लगता है कि मतलब इट वॉज नॉट वर्थ इट. एंड
Hmm.
सेकेंडली द सेकेंड डिफरेंस कम्स कि इफ अगर मैं किसी इंडिविजुअल क्लाइंट से बात कर रही हूँ, ऑथर से बात कर रही हूँ, अगर उनको मेरा काम नहीं पसंद आया या दे डोंट वांट टू गो अहेड विथ मी, तो ओके इट्स द एंड ऑफ डिस्कशन. बट इफ दे डू वांट टू गो अहेड विथ मी, जो मैंने कंटेंट एडिट करा वो ऑटोमेटिकली मेरा यूज होगा जब मैं उनकी बुक एडिट करूंगी पूरी. बट
Hmm.
व्हेन इट
Hmm.
कम्स टू दैट कंपनीज, अगेन वो कंटेंट किसी काम का नहीं रहा, उनके यूज हो गया होगा वो कंटेंट में भी, बट हमारे किसी काम नहीं आया, हमारी आगे हेल्प नहीं हुई, ना ही हमें उसका पे मिला. सो दैट
Hmm.
बिकम्स अ लिटिल बैड. सो कंपनीज में थोड़ा इश्यू रहता है, बट पर्सनली आई बिलीव कि ऑथर्स के लिए तो आई वुड ऑलवेज डू फ्री प्रोजेक्ट्स,
Hmm.
फ्री
But
सब.
by companies, what do you mean? Like publishing houses?
Publishing houses and content creation, companies, the
Companies.
companies who
Hmm.
are more involved in, writing thesis and writing,
Hmm.
all sorts of academic content and stuff like that. They usually are people who, ask for a lot of samples. And मतलब मेरा
Hmm.
एक्सपीरियंस अभी तक यही रहा है कि मुझे ऐसा कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया फ्रॉम मेजोरिटी. आई वोंट जनरलाइज एवरीवन,
Hmm.
बट
Hmm.
इट
Hmm.
इज अ केस इन मेजोरिटी ऑफ द कंपनीज लाइक दैट.
And I think writers भी आपका same pain share करते हैं because they keep approaching publishers and
Exactly.
they do not even reply back saying that even if you need a improvement, they don't say anything. तो वो
राइटर्स के केस में ऐसा होता है, अगर आप ऑथर्स जो कि पब्लिश कराने की बात कर रहे हैं, उस केस में ऐसा होता है कि सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग कंपनीज आर वेरी एक्साइटेड टू हैव न्यू ऑथर्स ऑन बोर्ड्स. But traditional publishing is a little, not that transparent ki, because we don't know how they work. उनका सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया इज डिफरेंट. दे डोंट सेलेक्ट एवरीवन. इफ दे डू दे नीड टू नो कि आप कैसे अपना रीडर बेस बनाओगे. दे नीड अ लॉट ऑफ प्लान दैट you need to put ahead in front, put in front of them well in advance. But with self publishing company you can take things one step at a time, and वो आपको support करते हैं throughout your journey.
बट ट्रेडिशनल में आप देखो कि इंडिया में शायद जैसे पेंगुइन या रूपा, हापर कॉलिंस, इस टाइप के जो मेजर पब्लिशिंग हाउस है वो बहुत कम है. लाइक मे बी 10-15 होंगे. एंड
हाँ,
नंबर ऑफ पीपल हु आर अप्लाइंग एज अ एडिटर और एज अ ऑथर जो उनको अप्रोच करते हैं वो बहुत ह्यूज
बहुत
है.
ज़्यादा
इट्स
करेक्ट.
लाइक कि आईआईटी क्रैक करने जैसा हो गया या क्योंकि कुछ परसेंटेज विल गेट थ्रू इट और उसमें
करेक्ट.
डेब्यू ऑथर इफ यू सी तो वो तो और भी बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट टास्क है. तो
राइट.
आई थिंक थोड़ा उनके साइड पे भी चैलेंज है बिकॉज दे आर लिमिटेड और फाइनेंशियली आई बिलीव आई डोंट नो इफ मेजर वंस आर स्ट्रगलिंग टू सर्वाइव बट ड्यूरिंग कोविड टाइम एंड तो पब्लिशिंग हाउसेस भी दे आर नॉट अर्निंग टू मच कि दे पे यू सो वेल टू राइटर्स ऑल्सो टू एडिटर्स ऑल्सो.
सी, जब सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग कंपनीज की बात आती है तो पेमेंट इज, द कंपनी इज अर्निंग डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द ऑथर्स, नॉट
हम्म.
मच फ्रॉम द रीडर्स. बट
हम्म.
ट्रेडिशनल पब्लिशिंग कंपनीज आर अर्निंग डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द रीडर्स. तो
हम्म.
वहाँ पे बहुत फर्क आ जाता है कि बुक कैसे मार्केट हुई है. तो सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग कंपनी में व्हेन दे हैव अर्न वेल इन एडवांस, उसके बाद दे कैन, दे प्रमोट योर वर्क, दे डू एवरीथिंग विथ योर वर्क. एंड
हम्म.
ट्रेडिशनल में दे टेक अ रिस्क ऑन यू
हम्म.
कि ओके वी आर gonna take your book and let's see how it goes, and then they give you royalty or the whatever contract amount is. uh, so yeah, that's how, that's the major difference between the two.
बट आई थिंक रिस्क तो सब बिजनेस में ही है, किसी
Correct.
भी बिजनेस में. बट इसमें उनका एडवांटेज ये है कि उनको एक रेडीमेड राइटिंग मटेरियल मिल रहा है
Hmm.
विच इज लाइक ऑथर का या राइटर का तो बहुत ज़्यादा एफर्ट उसको इन्वॉल्व है एंड हार्डली ही गेट्स 10-20 थाउजेंड. और
Hmm.
बाद में बिजनेस चलेगा तो वो ऑथर चलेगा लाइक उसका जो करियर है वो ग्रो करेगा. बट
Exactly.
पब्लिशिंग इंडस्ट्री के पास तो और भी अल्टरनेटिव बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस हैं. बट स्टिल आई थिंक जो मुझे पर्सनली लगता है कि उनका जो चॉइस ऑफ ऑथर हो जाता है या तो वो सेलिब्रिटी होता है वेयर दे गेट द एश्योरेंस ऑफ देयर बिजनेस. तो आई थिंक वो एंगल मोर देन द क्रिएटिविटी, आई थिंक वो थोड़ा सा
Exactly.
कमर्शियल हो जाता है।
Exactly. That
और
is why it becomes difficult to understand ki what exactly would sell, how
हम्म
exactly an author can sell their book to the publisher. Because
हम्म
reader को sell करना is completely different thing. But पहले वो traditional publisher तक पहुंचना is the hardest part. And
राइट
again, there's no clarity about it. If the publisher likes whoever is looking at your manuscripts, if they like it, then it's good. If they don't, it's not. So it's very
हम्म
subjective thing and very
या
there's no fixed part to it.
राइट। आई थिंक हाँ, ये कंपैरिजन तो हमेशा रहता ही है, सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग इन ट्रेडिशनल, बट आई थिंक लास्ट चॉइस दो, एवरीबडी वांट्स टू क्रैक दैट, बिकॉज जो पेपर बैक होता है वो यूजर के हाथ में पहुंचना, एंड देन यू सी इट इन द स्टोर्स और ऑन द एयरपोर्ट, जो बुक स्टोर्स है वहाँ पे विजिबिलिटी काफ़ी मिल जाती है बुक को, बट इन सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग आई थिंक ये ऑथर का बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रगल हो जाता है टू मेक इट रीचेबल।
Exactly. So everything kind of author से ही author ही कर रहा है self publishing में.
Hmm.
Even publishing house is also involved, but still every step ki if they want their books in the market, in the bookstores, they have to work on it कि कैसे पहुंचाई जाए. If they want readers to have it, they have to work on it. So सब कुछ
Hmm.
बहुत hands on हो जाता है for authors. For
Hmm.
traditional, I think कुछ हद तक उनको एक they can be laid back about it, and traditional publishing कुछ हद तक वो burden ले लेती है.
हम्म, राइट राइट। एंड आई थिंक अभी थोड़ा मैं स्विच करूंगी प्रोफेशन पे। तो हम लोग जब भी इंस्टाग्राम पे कुछ देखते हैं या किसी और का प्रोफेशन देखते हैं, स्पेशली जो कि इंटर्न्स है या कॉलेज पास आउट है, तो उनको ये सब देख के लगता है कि बस पैसा ही पैसा है, या एक परसेप्शन होता है, एंड देन दे चूज करियर की क्या उनको फिनेंशियली स्टेबल करेगा कुछ सालों में। तो एडिटिंग इंडस्ट्री का ऐसा क्या मिथ है या क्या पिक्चर है और क्या रियलिटी है, इफ यू कैन जस्ट थ्रो सम लाइट देयर।
पब्लिशिंग इंडस्ट्री में आई थिंक सबसे बड़ा तो यही है कि इफ यू आर इन पब्लिशिंग हाउस, अच्छे ट्रेडिशनल पब्लिशिंग या किसी भी अच्छे कंपनी के साथ आप एसोसिएटेड हो, देन यू आर अर्निंग ग्रेट. और अगर आप एक राइटर हो तो आप एक बार बुक पब्लिश कर लो तो यू बिकम बेस्ट सेलर जस्ट लाइक दैट. ये सब नहीं है ऑब्वियसली. इट्स अ वेरी रोजी पिक्चर बिकॉज हम लोग उन्हीं लोग को देख पा रहे हैं जो आगे बढ़ पा रहे हैं, जो हाईलाइट
राइट।
हो पा रहे हैं. बट अल्टीमेटली नो मैटर व्हाट कंपनी इट इज, पे हमेशा थोड़ा एटलीस्ट फॉर द फ्रेशर्स अंटिल 4-5 years तक का एक्सपीरियंस भी इज नॉट वेल पेड इनफ अनलेस आप बिल्कुल ही मैनेजरियल रोल पे जा रहे हो. I did apply for some companies, but the pay was not good. I was like, I can earn better with my freelancing, so why should I, take up a job instead? So pay is less. Freelancing में एक scope होता है, आप जितना अपने आप को diversify करना चाहो, आप जितना साथ में लोगों को hire करना चाहो, आपका scope उतना बढ़ता रहेगा. But with company you are restricted to a certain job, a certain role. तो वहाँ पे वो पे भी वहीं पे रेस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाता है. तो आई थिंक एक पे रिलेटेड है. इन सेकेंड अबाउट बेस्ट सेलर, जैसा मैंने बोला ही कि मार्केटिंग ही चाहिए. सो इफ पीपल सी इट ऑन देयर फीड, दे नो कि हाँ दिस इज डूइंग गुड. बट इफ दे डोंट सी इट ऑन देयर फीड, वो नहीं हो रही इतनी पॉपुलर इवन दो द ऑथर हैज वर्क जस्ट हैज हार्ड ऑन दैट वर्क.
हम्म।
So also that writers are basically full-time writers. That is not true.
हाँ।
Writers have their full-time jobs and they sometimes write only part-time. So ये सारे कुछ myth है इस industry से related.
राइट। हम्म
सोशलाइजिंग पार्ट, क्योंकि जब मैं पहले अकाउंटिंग जॉब कर रही थी, वहाँ पे इतना सोशलाइजिंग होता था. वी वुड गो टू पार्टीज एंड लोगों से मिलना, दैट वाज आल्सो फन. एंड यहाँ पे घर पे वर्क फ्रॉम होम करना, नॉट मीटिंग एनीवन फॉर डेज एंड डेज, तो वो
राइट।
थोड़ा बोरिंग हो जाता है. बट even after that, I believe कि I would stick to freelancing because the comfort I get, the kind of connection I build with my clients is way better than I guess I would have at a company. And I mean, I just enjoy working like this.
Yeah. But do you get enough work through freelancing?
It is always, a up and down graph. So
Hmm.
at some months, I would be so busy, I would be sleeping at like midnight or 2 in the night, and sometimes it's so less. I just spend my time, upskilling myself. I get time to do that. So I think no matter how the work goes, I'm able to manage the work and get something positive out of it ultimately. So
Hmm.
yeah, the work won't be consistent. You are every time you are reaching out to a client, every time you are trying to close a deal, every day you are trying to, you know, uh, put yourself in front of new writers, new publishing houses if they want to work with you, and that is an everyday struggle. But even while you are working on a project already, so
Hmm.
that is going to stay there as long as it's going to be, like that. If
Yeah.
if I go ahead and build a company, then several people would be working together. Several could handle acquisition, and several could handle editing and all the other jobs. So that can make it more consistent. But for now, it's really everything on my plate. So it gets a little overwhelming and a little up and down kind of thing.
Yeah. And do you work on multiple projects simultaneously? Like, is it manageable? Because there could be the case that two books are of different genre, and your thought process and strategy to kind of edit the book would be also different. So, like, how do you manage?
It actually helps when the book are quite different,
Hmm.
जितना वो different होती है, it helps me just as much. Reason being, when I'm working on, say, a romance novel and a non-fiction or a business related book, it is really helpful because I'm in completely different mindsets. When I'm
Hmm.
working on it, I know I'm working on it, and I'm working on the other, I know it's all business, it's all formal and all of that. So I like to, a lot of people ask me that, and I just like to say, like, if you're watching two TV shows, for example, Friends and Brooklyn Nine-Nine at the same time, you won't get confused about the characters because you are so involved in those two stories and they are completely different. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with writing as well. You just understand what's going on in one, what's going on in other. Yes, what is confusing is the styling issues. For example, one book might be following a US style of writing, the other might be following UK style of writing.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
The spelling issues, the character names, all of those issues, how they use symbols, how they use punctuations, they all can be different in both the cases. So, for that, a style guide is very important. So
Hmm.
no matter, I can work on 10 projects at a time, but I will have those style guides, so I will never be confused about how I'm going to work on one book or the other.
Hmm. And since you just mentioned about the style guide, I think we should talk about your book also, where you have simplified, like if somebody do not really want to invest in editing, but kind of, quick check for their book. So if you can say something about your book, and also if you want to share that you met Twinkle Khanna and Tisca Chopra also, and you have presented your book to them. So if you want to tell about that experience as well.
Sure. So, after having worked for around 3 years and doing these multiple style guides for every project thing consistently for all, I realized that not a lot of people are doing it. I mean, they could have one project or several projects and they don't have style guides. And even if they are on one book, someone might forget what style guide they were using earlier, what style they were using, and the consistency changes. When you are reading, you suddenly see a different spelling of the same thing, and that can be a little troublesome for the reader. So I decided to write this book. It's right here, Mastering Writing Standards. So my main
Hmm.
agenda with this was, and it's literally this slim. I have tried to, short down everything, put it in concise form, so everyone can find it easy to handle and easy to use. So yeah, a lot of time happens that people get confused. So for that, I have added a style guide right over here. It's a checklist kind of thing, if you can see it. So all the things are mentioned over here. You just have to select the option that you think you are going to stick with for your book. So this is just one part. You can download its Excel and you can create as many tabs as you want for your books, and easily work on it. So whether it's using a single quotation mark, a double quotation mark, italics, bold, all
Hmm.
those sorts of doubts are really simplified in over here. And you will never forget what you were applying already, and you will never get those issue with consistency. So even if you are not using an editor, I would really suggest using this book, because it will simplify a lot of things for you, and all your editing troubles would be really really minimized.
Right. And I think any proofreading, we go, multiple rounds of reading through the book. So I think that is definitely going to help the even writers, even before they approach any editor.
Correct. So it gets very confusing. Also, there are some rules of grammar, like how to place adjectives if there are multiple adjectives, or how to use nouns, pronouns, and very basic level language issues. So I've ensured I've put everything in over here, so anyone can just have a look quickly and can get an idea of what the grammar rule says about that thing. So
Hmm.
I actually went through a style guide called the Chicago Manual, which is almost this thick, and it was not possible even for me to go through it every time. So I used to short down those notes and mention it in an MS Word file, so that I can go back to it again and again. And that file itself got around 20 to 30 pages long. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, why not I publish a book that would also help other people to with these same issues that I face. And these are all
Right.
really simple things, but yeah, you need to keep checking onto that again and
Hmm.
again.
Hmm. It's like a quick check that.
Exactly, that is what it is. It's a checklist basically. So once you are done with your writing, it's a checklist. Like this is done, this is done, this is done.
Hmm.
It's kind of that.
Hmm. And apart from this, like in your regular day-to-day work, do you use any AI tool or anything that just simplifies your work?
I actually use Grammarly. Grammarly, I have put up that add-on on my MS Word itself. So what it
Mm-hmm.
does is, whenever I open an MS Word file, all the grammar issues are highlighted in red color. So that really helps me ensure that I can focus on the main thing of the writing instead of the
Hmm.
grammar and spelling things. So it
Right.
really takes care of a lot of things that would require my extra focus on.
Hmm.
So that is a really helpful tool, and then I can focus on the remaining things, and that actually helps.
Okay. And we missed about Twinkle Khanna.
Of course. So yeah, I got an opportunity to meet Twinkle Khanna and Tisca Chopra. So it was Twinkle Khanna's book launch of Welcome to Paradise,
Hmm.
and I got an opportunity to be there. I was invited. So yeah, I got my books and I presented it to them. So they really loved it, and there was this a little bookmark along with it that said, "You are cute and grammatical too." It's a quote by someone. I'm forgetting the name of the person. So they
Hmm.
really loved that bookmark. So they kept
Okay.
it, and it was a really sweet moment.
Yeah. And I think the small moments kind of encourage you for your work, right? Because even when you do freelancing, your writer appreciate you to an extent, but then there is not a constant appreciation for our work, or the recognition we do not get it when we do actually freelancing. In your company, there might be some awards or something like editor of the year kind of, but when it comes to freelancing, I think to keep yourself motivated is very important. And
Correct.
at times you don't really feel that you are up to the mark also, like in any profession when you are self reliant, right? So that gets difficult to keep you always on the higher side and the positive side.
Correct. So I like to believe like I am the boss of myself. So as good as that is, I don't have to ask my boss for leave because the boss wants leave. The other side is also true that the boss is really strict when I do something wrong. So yeah, I have to handle both the sides of this boss. But yeah, it's working well. We are working great together.
It's actually a good idea to keep yourself on track.
It is because that only works, you know. Sometimes I'm like too tired, you know. I just don't want to work, so I just shut my laptop for a while and I chill for a day. I watch series and I read books, and then the second day is like the danda is there. You have got to work. The deadline is so and so. You have to work. So then I'm back to work.
Okay. So, does this boss make you feel guilty about things you do for, like maybe to watch a movie, or is it something? Because what happens is that back of mind, even if we are watching movie and we feel guilty that this time I have taken out from my work, does
It
that happen to you as well?
it's actually true, but then like I'm pretty like sure that every weekend, like one day at least, Saturday or Sunday, I need to go out and meet my friends, and those are new friends. I came to Mumbai very recently, so I had to, you know, work really hard to even find those people and, you know, make sure that I meet them repeatedly, because again, there's no office, there's no way to socialize. So I
Hmm.
started a book club, and I am in constant touch with them, and I constantly meet them as a book club or just as a friendly hangout kind of thing. So
Hmm.
at that time, I know that I need some time for myself. I need time for socializing. So no, no work matters over here. And then
Hmm.
there are times when I'm just watching series. So definitely when I'm sick or something, I need my break. It's like month mein do tin din, I need that off. I'm not gonna do anything. And then when I'm just literally, I just wanna chill. I just try to analyze. Okay, what's my deadline looks like? What does the schedule looks like? And if everything looks fine, I take a guilt-free break. So yeah, there's no such need for being guilty. If you know what you are doing, if you know how you can handle it, then there's no guilt. So
Hmm.
you can enjoy your time as much as you want.
Right. And I think this break is also needed for you to kind of rewind yourself.
Yeah, particularly when you're working 7 days a week, and then
Hmm.
even till night. Like my work time usually starts at 11 a.m. and easily goes on till midnight, sometimes even more. And you know, in between, I'm doing my household chores, I'm doing extra stuff, or I'm on social media doing some posts and stuff. So the time is divided into a lot of different things that I don't really. I mean, if I'm editing for like 6 to 7 hours, or even 5 to 6 hours. But the rest of the time, even though I'm working, I'm actually on Instagram. I'm making posts. I'm doing. I'm writing. I'm reading. All of those things that doesn't actually count as work for people, but it is.
Hmm. It is a work. Like it takes a time. Even if you have to do a single post on Instagram, you have to find tags, you have to write the taglines,
Exactly,
you
you
have
know,
to
make
tag people.
graphics, make the caption, then think about what you're going to post about, all of those things.
Hmm.
And then again,
Hmm.
you need to, you know, constantly keep cold messaging, cold emailing, because
Hmm.
that is the one thing I found has been somewhat beneficial for me. So
Hmm.
I keep doing it. If people
Yeah.
randomly receive my messages, they're like, "Okay, thank you so much for reaching out, but I don't need an editor right
Huh.
now. But I'll keep you in mind." So yeah, that helps. Even that builds some sort of networking and all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's how we also met.
Yeah, exactly.
Though I'm complaining about sample editing, but I got it sample edited by you.
Yeah,
And and
I
didn't actually
remember.
turned out to be a customer because that book somehow got on hold, and that's a different story altogether.
It's all right,
No,
but
but
I
then
hope that we work together.
yeah, but then when I was approaching for the sample editing, the editors were really kind to, do this. But somewhere I was feeling very guilty because I'm not paying them anything. And at the same time, I wanted the best editor for my work also. So when you do a kind of 3, 4 sample edit, you can actually compare like
Hmm.
who fits and who understands your tone.
Correct. And
Hmm.
that's actually needed. And I actually support it. I tell my clients that, you know, if you are working with or you are reaching out to other editors, then wait for everyone's sample and then only finalize one. because you don't want to regret later, like, oh, I could have gone with that someone person and not you, or something like that. So don't keep that kind of thing in mind, because that
Right.
doesn't show up well when we are working together. That kind of connection breaks. So
Right.
I
And
really.
this actually builds a trust because once I have seen the sample edit, I can completely rely on my editor that, he or she will
Yes.
take care.
Yes, correct. So, along with the quality, it is also important that that kind of personal touch is also good. So sometimes someone can do great work, but it's very important that they vibe with you. That kind of vibes are really important. So
Yeah.
the client I'm currently working with, and she's like, "You are the first editor I asked, and I just finalize you because I felt such a great connection with you. You understand
Hmm.
my story, you respond to my queries, and she just decided to stick with me right after the first trial. So I'm like,
Right.
that's really a great thing to hear. You never notice how much your communication actually impacts if someone wants to work with you or not.
Mhm. And when it comes to book writing, right, there are many people who are now writing biographies or memoir. So some are kind of a sensitive part of the book also. They are not very comfortable to share with everyone. But when it comes to editor, they, totally trust and rely them with everything. Mm.
Exactly. I mean, if we talk about the book bloopers kind of thing, there are a lot of things that get added in the book and removed later, and removed from the book, but then is added later. So it's really it happens because of the trust. So you
Yeah.
trust your editor. If they are saying something, then you agree with it and you work on it also. So yeah, that kind of trust building becomes very important when you are working together.
Yeah. And tell me one thing in your career or in your profession that, that is one thing that, every day you wake up and you feel that, you're excited about. So, what is that one thing in your day of work?
I think that one thing would be to knowing that there's something that you are gonna polish. Every day, if I work on a chunk of text, I know that it is gonna look better once I'm done with it. So that when you are cleaning some area and that's really dusty, and you clean it and it's shining spotless, so that kind of satisfaction is what I get when I'm editing.
So, you have a OCD in editing.
You can say that, yeah.
Okay. So I think Falguni, we are done, and this was great knowing you as an editor because I haven't interacted with any editor for so long, and it was only related to the work. But I see there is a lot of things common in writer and editor, and there are a lot of challenges which are common between us, and there are a lot of pain points for the publishing industry, which is common between
Yeah.
both of us. So I think, yeah, it's good to know your perception, and I wish you really the best for your career. And I think you have achieved really great in such a short span of your career.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot. And when you asked me that you wanted to do podcast with me, and I was really excited. I was like, yes, I want to talk about editing. I want to talk as much as I can about editing. I've done 2 or 3 podcasts with different people, and it's always fun to talk about the industry, to talk about the experiences that we share. And it is even better when the author is on the other side, because you get the 2 points, 2 perspectives of the same point. So
Right.
yeah, it is always fun to talk about work with authors.
Yeah. Thank you. And I don't know why, but when first time I spoke to you, I felt like, I have been knowing you. This didn't feel like the first time. And even today, it didn't feel like, this
Exactly.
kind of an interview thing. Yeah.
It's so comfortable. You feel like you're talking to a friend, you are just sharing your experiences, and it's so chill. I
And
really.
one more question, like maybe this is the last question, but I wanted to ask you, like, suppose if any intern or any person who just want to start in the industry, what are the things like they should do to you kind of enter into the industry and to grow as well?
I believe that first of all, building your portfolio is very important. Even if you are applying for a job, or even if you are going to go for a freelance, site, it's very important to build that portfolio. You need people to have, you need to have some work that people can see, that your potential clients can see, and that they can trust you on. Of course, the sample before you start working remains a constant, but they still would like to know, okay, what has been your past experiences. Even till now, people ask, okay, it's a romance novel. Would you be interested in doing it? Have you have any experience in romance novels? Or similarly for self-help, especially for spiritual books, because I have worked on a lot of spiritual books somehow. And there's this always this question like, would you be able to understand spirituality? Would you be able to work on it? So yeah, it is a constant. So try to diversify your portfolio, try to do as many projects in as different areas as possible, even if it is articles and blogs or books, whatever you can get your hands on. So once you have a little bit of portfolio kind of setup ready, then you can go ahead and finalize what rates you want to charge for it, and how you want to go ahead about it. So yeah, and you always have to be ready for rejection, and you always have to be ready to hustle, because you ask 10 people and you will get one client. That is how it
Hmm.
starts. So
Hmm.
you need to be ready to take that ghosting, take that rejection, and just keep asking out, keep networking, keep reaching out to new people, new authors, and you surely will have something great coming up in your future. So
Hmm.
even I have like a few authors who I met in past time, or I just contacted them and connected with them on social media, and they are still in touch, even though I haven't worked for them or we haven't collaborated in any form. But still, it's good to know that they would respond to my queries, they would help me out in some situations, all of those stuff. So yeah, keep networking, keep working on your goals.
Thank you so much, Falguni. I think this is surely going to help. And then there is a one last round, which is like a fun segment. It's kind of a 1 minute score segment. So in 1 minute, I'll ask you some questions, and you just have to answer. And how many answers you give, that would be your score.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
So your favorite editor,
Favorite editor? Okay, I know Saksham Garg from Penguin. He has worked at Penguin, so yeah.
reading books or watching movies,
Reading books,
adventure park or library,
library,
9 to 6 job or freelancing,
freelancing.
money or fame,
Money.
next thing on your bucket list.
Next thing is I'm planning to finish my collection of short stories. So yeah, that is.
Okay. Next thing on your bucket list. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I asked the same. Sorry, sorry. Beach or mountain?
Beach,
Morning person or late night person?
late night.
Success for you is
Um, Ensuring that the writer who has published their book is doing really well. Their success is my success.
okay. I think that covers your 1 minute round, and you answered 9 questions. So nine is your score.
That's interesting.
That's a good score, huh?
Yeah, that's very great.
Okay. So good to know you, Falguni. It was great having a conversation with you, and thank you so much
Likewise.
for taking out the time.
I really enjoyed so much.
Okay, Falguni. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
Yeah. Bye bye. हमारे अगले एपिसोड के गेस्ट होने वाले हैं राइटर, जिनका नाम है विकास प्रकाश जोशी, और जिन्होंने बुक लिखी है माय नेम इज सिनेमन। इस बुक को 14 प्लस अवार्ड्स और रिकॉग्निशन मिले हैं। इसको कन्नड़ा लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेट किया जा चुका है, और तेलुगु में इसका ट्रांसलेशन जारी है। इसके अलावा बुक को स्क्रीन अडॉप्टेशन के लिए भी कंसीडर किया जा रहा है, और यही नहीं, शशि थरूर अप्रूव्ड है ये बुक। इस बुक का नाम है माय नेम इज सिनेमन, जो कि एक ऑर्फन चाइल्ड की कहानी है और बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल कहानी है। तो आइए हम नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में मिलेंगे ऑथर से और जानेंगे बहुत कुछ बुक पब्लिशिंग इंडस्ट्री के बारे में। और हाँ, उन्होंने ये बुक ट्रेडिशनली पब्लिश की है और ये उनकी पहली बुक है, तो हम उनसे सीखेंगे कि कैसे उन्होंने इस इंडस्ट्री को क्रैक किया। तो चलिए चलते हैं और मिलते हैं। तब तक लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब। थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग। बाय बाय।